Hello, my dear students. How are you today? So, welcome to the Agha Amazing and Physics Exciting lesson in General Physics 2. I am Jimuel H. Luminarias, your teacher in General Physics. Before we'll start our new lesson, just prepare your module as well as your pen and paper, for we will be having a super exciting activities. Are you ready? Very good. Before we will start a new lesson, let's watch this amazing video. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Flying plastic bag. Bouncing aluminum balls.
What have you observed with the video? What made the object move? What do you think is the reason why the plastics float or the balloon move away and the aluminum balls jumps apart or jump with each other? What do you think is the reason? And as you have observed in the last portion of the video, this rubbing of the materials can produce an energy, which is also the reason why the aluminum balls jumps. How do you think an object possesses an energy or charge? Class, all of these questions will be answered as we go along into our new discussion today. Alright class, our lesson for today is all about electric charges. And at the end of this lesson, we will be able to explain the role of electron transfer in three different charging processes, namely the charging by friction, the charging by conduction, and the charging by induction. So are you now all ready? Alright, are you excited? Very good. Class, have you ever experienced something that you can't explain before? Like touching the doorknob and you get an electric shock? Follows the balloon when you put the balloon above your head? Did you ever experience that one before? Or did you ever experience a sparks between you and your friend when you do the handshake or you touch your elbow with her or him, and then you think that siya na ba si forever? We, sana all. Actually class, these are examples of how charges transfer from one another. How do this object acquire charges? Like the doorknob, you feel that there is an electricity? Or some of your hair moves upward as it goes with the balloon and you get a spark between you and your friend when you touch the hands of your friend, especially it's a lady. So how did this object acquire charges? And how do we know that there's a charge of that particular object? And then, how does this energy transfer from one object to another? So what is the process? So the process is called charging. So it is called as electric charging. Electric charging is the process of supplying the electric charge to an object or losing an electric charge to an object. To better understand this, let's try to discuss or recap some of our learnings before. As we have learned that everything or all things are made up of matter. And matter is made up of very tiny particles called atoms. Atoms consist of three subatomic particles, namely the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons. Protons have a positive charge, while neutrons have neutral or no charge, and electrons have negatively charged. Most of the electrons can be found in the outermost layer of the atom. Charges have forces that acts between them. That is why it is called as electric force. The varying composition of different materials give them different electrical properties. That is why not all materials can flow electricity on it. Some will resist. And only electrons are transferred or gained by an object when they undergo charging. Okay class, in order to better understand the idea of electron transfer and electric charging, we will have a virtual lab activity. So this virtual lab activity, we will be using a platform made by PhET, Interactive Simulation. It is a project which made by University of Colorado Boulder. It is a non-profit, so meaning it is free class. As long as you have internet, you can access this platform. You can, if you have a laptop and computer as well. So this is the link. I will provide it to you. So if you have laptop and computers in your home, you can do it later after the discussion. So just click this link and it will be redirect you to our activity. Okay, so it's very interesting class. You can do it in your own. So are you now ready? Alright, so very good. Right class, this is how we will access the PhET platform using the Google. Okay, so just click or just copy and paste the link that I have provided and then enter for you to be able to access the PhET interactive simulation. Okay, and make sure also that you have an internet connection. Alright, so as we have observed, we have three materials present: the cloth, the balloon, and the wall. So you can see also that these three are neutrally charged, meaning to say that they have equal numbers of protons and electrons. But notice class that when you rub the balloon towards the cloth or towards the cloth, the negatively charged particles of the cloth are being attracted to the balloon, like what you have observed. So making the cloth become positively charged because it has a deficiency or it has no or lack of electrons in it. So the cloth becomes positively charged while the balloon becomes negatively charged because it has a more presence of electrons. Okay? Okay class, let's try to look what will happen. So when we release this negatively charged balloon to the air, it will be attracted to the positively charged cloth. Right? However, if ever that we will place this balloon near to the wall, we can see that the negatively charged particles of the wall repel to the negatively charged particles of the balloon. So, we can say that, what you have noticed? Alright, we can say that unlike charges attract and like charges repel. Alright, very good. We have learned on that activity that an object becomes positively charged if it has more protons than electrons. And an object becomes negatively charged if it has more electrons than protons. An object has a neutral charge if both protons and electrons have equal numbers. Right? Very good. Alright, we have also learned that unlike charges attract and like charges repel. These are the law of charges. So, like charges repel and unlike charges attract. Since that you have already learned the concept from the PhET platform or from our previous activity, so let's have now an activity. This activity is entitled Your Opinion, Our Conclusion, hashtag LabKoto. So you will be able to view 3 different video clips. Then you must observe what will happen. Then after that, you must also answer the question being posted. Okay, so answer the question being posted and you must post it in our group chat using this hashtag LabKoto. Okay, so are you now excited? Question? Okay, so we will begin now. Number 1. Alright, the question is, what makes the bits of paper get attracted to the plastic roll? Do you have an idea? Just reserve that one. Video clip number 2. Alright, so the question is, how do the particles of the plastic roll affect the tin can? What's your opinion? Okay. Video clip number 3. Alright, so the question is, what make an aluminum foil inside moves, or what make this aluminum foil inside the electroscope move or moves? What's your opinion? You don't need to answer all of those 3 questions. You must choose one only, okay? And follow this format in answering, okay? Hashtag LabKoto the number of the clip that you've chosen, and then your answer. Answer it briefly, okay? And then send it into our group chat, okay? All right. I will be checking our group chat later, and the deadline for this will be tonight, okay? So thank you. All right, class. We will now discuss the three different processes of electrostatic charging. These are the charging by friction, charging by conduction, and charging by induction. Let's discuss about charging by friction. Charging by friction is a process which involves the rubbing of one material to another material, resulting in the electrons moving from one object to another. So in this process, one object may be positively charged while the other object may become a negatively charged. Very good. Okay, class. Let us demonstrate the charging by friction using a plastic roll, a piece of paper, and a cloth. To demonstrate, first is we must rub this plastic roll into the cloth, okay, and slowly move it to the bits of paper. Notice the behavior of the bits of paper as we move this plastic roll. Charging by friction. Alright class, as we have observed in the experiment, some bits of paper get attracted as we move near the plastic roll. Others also repel. This means that the plastic roll has the tendency to become positively charged after rubbing or friction, while the other side of the attracted bits of paper are negatively charged, so making it attracted. On the other hand, some bits of paper repelled, for both plastic and bits of paper contain positive charge. Understand? Very good. Charging by conduction. Charging by conduction is a process that involves touching or contact with a charged object to a neutral object. Okay, class, let us demonstrate the charging by conduction using the plastic roll, a cloth, and an improvised electroscope. So electroscope is an early instrument or scientific instrument that used to determine the presence of an electric charge within an object. So to demonstrate, let us charge the plastic roll by friction and then slowly place it on the top of the aluminum sphere of the electroscope. So notice the aluminum foil at the end of the object. Charging by conduction. Alright class, as we have observed in the experiment, actually the electroscope has a neutral charge at the beginning of the experiment. However, as we place the charged plastic roll to the aluminum sphere, the aluminum foil on the other end becomes charged as we see the movement of the foil. Class, let's proceed to the third process of charging by induction. Charging by induction is a process that charges an object without actually touching to any other object that has a charge. The charged particle of an object is held near an uncharged conductive material that is grounded or neutrally charged. Okay class, let us demonstrate the charging by induction using a plastic roll, a cloth, and a tin can. So to demonstrate, let us charge first the plastic roll using the friction with the cloth. And notice that the tin can as we move near the plastic roll. Charging by induction. We have observed in the experiment class that even if without directly touching, the charged particle of the plastic roll cause the tin can to move closer, as in particles get attracted to the particle of the plastic roll. Alright class, who among you who can still recall the different processes of charging? Alright, very good. The three different processes of electrostatic charging are the charging by friction, charging by conduction, and charging by induction. Through the discussion class, we have also learned the law of conservation of charges. It states that charges cannot be created nor destroyed, but can be transferred to one material to another. Thus, the total charge of a system remains constant. We have also learned that the law of charges states that unlike charges attract and like charges repel. So, if positive and negative, it's attract, and if both positive or both negative, the charges repel. Very good. So, question class, classification. There's none. Just prepare your pen and paper or your answer sheet. Class, do you have questions, clarification? Okay, so just get one half sheet of paper and answer this following. First is, you must explain why the tin can still move even if without touching with a plastic roll. Second, what is the reason why some bits of paper did not get attracted to the plastic roll? And the third is, how did the electron move the aluminum foil? So just answer it briefly and in a one half sheet of paper. Okay? For assignment class, answer the activity found in page 14 or in the valuing or application portion of your module. Use your answer sheet in answering. Okay? Alright. Very good. And this ends our discussion. Class, if you have clarification or questions regarding the topic, just message me in our group chat. Okay? So thank you and God bless. Bye-bye. Hanggang sa muli.